Hello, 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 everybody. I wanted to do this yesterday, but I didn't. So I'm doing it now. It is the 1st of April. It is April Fool's Day. I'm not going to pull an April Fool's in this video. Or am I? I'm not. Or am I? I don't know. Anyway, we got a bit of smooth jazz in the background. Makes it sound a little bit like a 70s porn, but don't worry about it. There'll be no porn. Oh, that's good. Right, anyway. What do I want to talk about? I don't know. This is why I wanted to do it yesterday, because I had my notes, I knew what I wanted to do, and that's all kind of gone away, because it's no longer yesterday, it is today. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you again to everybody, and also this will be a completely open update, so normally these are locked behind being a Twitch sub or a Patreon, and more often than not, that will remain the truth. So if you want to see more frequent updates, it's something I offer as a kind of thank you, basically. You can hear me waffle on even more. I don't know if it's a good thank you or a bad thank you, but I offer it anyway, because especially on the streaming side, I really don't know what else I can offer to make it worth $4.99 a month. You know, $4.99 a month is halfway towards a Netflix subscription, more or less, and you got hundreds of hours of quality entertainment over there, and then I'm asking you for $4.99 just to watch me for what, X hours a day, because I can't bother to do the maths. But thank you for everybody on Patreon and on Twitch for continuing to support me. It's been an incredible first 3 months of the year. I said at the start that come March I would decide whether I could carry on for another 3 months or if I would have to give up the Twitch side. And I'm kind of in a kind of halfway point right now. So I will be carrying on. So April for sure. May more than likely. We will have to look at it again around the end of May to see if I want to make a push. And if I do make a push around the end of May, I'm basically telling myself I'm in this for the year. Come what may. So the only thing that would then stop me is if I go completely bankrupt or Twitch goes down or my audience just goes down to zero. Really. Those are the things that'll stop me at any given time. But the plan is, hopefully, that I can, by the end of May, make that decision. Right, we're in this for the year or it's all over. We'll have a big blowout month in June. And then I'll go back to a more kind of casual streaming schedule, whatever that would look like, once I've had to pick up whatever I'd have to pick up to replace the income. So that's the Twitch side. So hopefully you'll keep on coming. I am going to be adding more weekend streams. So more than likely... Okay, right, so we're on schedule, So... Monday to Friday, obviously I do 2 PM now, British summertime, to 6 PM. The idea is that I would probably make one of those days either shorter or a rest day. I haven't quite decided yet. It's likely to be Wednesday, because I might be doing something else fairly regularly on a Wednesday. Which means it makes it the ideal rest day from streaming. And then the idea is I will throw in a Saturday stream. Okay, so it's all confusing. I really need to formulate my thoughts before I do this. But so obviously on a Sunday we do D&D. That hasn't happened recently because people have been away, busy, whatever. So I think I haven't even discussed this with the D&D guys yet, but my push for the D&D thing is to either we do it twice a month or once a month, still on the Sunday, and then if we do the kind of once a month thing, maybe we can sit down and do for 3 hours rather than 2, or maybe even 4, push for 4 hours. I don't know if I could do that, honestly, let alone anybody else. But these are all things I'm going to be formulating around the D&D group pretty soon. So when we do D&D, I would stream on a Sunday and I would stream D&D. when we're not doing D&D, I'm also going to be streaming on a Sunday. Or a Saturday, I think. Now, if it remains like that and I do an either or on the weekends, Wednesdays, unless I pick up this thing, which I might pick up, and if that does interfere with the stream schedule, then Wednesdays may still become a no stream day. But if we keep the alternating stuff, I will try and keep everything else the same. And then what I might do is every, I don't know, say fourth, like every end of the month, weekend, just take it off and not stream. Actually, I kind of like that. I like that idea a lot. See? I'm thinking out loud. That's why I like these videos more than anything else. I sit down and I think out loud about the hideous stain you can see on this desk, which I don't know what it is. Not poo, so that's something. So, yes, I am going to be looking into doing definitely more weekend streams. Couple of reasons. I miss streaming when I don't do it on a weekend. I really enjoy streaming, so not doing it for a couple of days, I want to. I want to do it. Now, the Saturday streams and the Sunday streams would only probably ever be 2 hours, rather than the 4 hours I do on a weekday. Probably starting around the same time, like 2 o'clock. And I know Rydog is also trying to push to do more regular weekend streams. If he decides to do that, and depending on the times, I would very much try to stream with him if we've got a multiplayer game on the go. And if not, I would probably just not stream that particular Saturday, honestly. Because I want to watch him. I miss watching other streamers because I haven't had the time to do it. Which is the other thing I'm trying to build into my day, is just more time to actually go and watch other people stream. Because I do miss that side of it. I miss that side of it a lot. But anyway, so that's the plan. I am planning to add in another weekend stream. I don't know when I'm going to start that, because obviously we're at the busy gardening season, kind of beginning gardening season right now. So planting all the plants, digging all the beds, all that kind of stuff. So my weekends are kind of full at the moment, but I'm going to try and start slotting those in as and when I can. Probably for the first bit, I will probably just, if Rydog decides to stream or wants me to stream to play with him, I will probably just join him and stream at the same time, and then I will try and make it a more regular thing as time goes on. And then once I've talked to the D&D people, I will let everybody know about what's going to happen on the Sundays. But so if you haven't watched me before and you feel like you want to, I'd like to be able to do a hard pitch sale here to say you should come watch because I'm fun, but I find it very hard to sell myself. So all I can suggest is go to twitch.tv/pieceofcake, police of cake even, between 2 PM BST to 6 PM BST on any given weekday. Come and have a watch. If you like it, say hello. If you don't, well, then just breeze on by, right? I can't even tell you the kind of games I play because I just play what I want to play at the time. So it changes all the time. So yeah, can't even say that. Anyway, that's on the Twitch side. I'm going to try and grow it a little bit more. I'm not going to be going aggressive. I mean, one, I don't know how to aggressively sell it, and two, I don't want just high follower count, low viewer count. I want consistent viewers. I want viewers who like to chat. Don't get me wrong, I like the lurkers, but I do like a lot of chat in the stream. I enjoy interacting with the other people on the stream. So people who come in and chat, I really appreciate it. I appreciate anybody who watches and supports, and watching is support. But if you do want to come in and you do want to chat, we do have some fairly robust chats. I have been told off through Twitch whispers by people about some of the subjects I talk about. So far, I don't think I've touched anything remotely taboo, or at least shouldn't be taboo. But I will try and talk about anything that I feel I can contribute to. There's certain things I can't, but and in that instance, I prefer to learn these things. Anyway, let's get off the point. Let's try and get on to the other side of things, which is the side I'm really starting to push now. So the other side of my pitch is writing. So I don't consider myself a good writer by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm trying to get there. I've written both books and for TV/film, so the script side of things. Nothing under my own name. I did a lot of ghostwriting for a while. So I'm still fairly unknown and trying to make myself known in that world. I do have a couple of TV shows in the works with various different production companies at the moment, but they're all kind of stalled, which is the real pain. So what I would love to be able to do eventually, the end goal for my kind of writing career, if you like, is to be able to produce my own stuff. And if I can get... I've just realised this is going to get copyright struck. Even though they told me this music was all copyright free, I very much doubt this is, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, what was I saying? So yeah, so obviously if those happen, what I'm hoping to be able to do at the time is kind of share that process with you as we go on from, okay, so it was written, this is how it gets made, and I really want to share that. That's kind of what I'm building up to. But what I'd really like to do is make the stuff myself and then really be able to do a deep dive into, okay, here's some random guy in a shed. He's written this thing. People have liked it. Now I want to try and turn it into like a YouTube series. That's kind of where you're going to aim, or do a live Twitch play, for want of a better term. Just have a lot of fun with it. So then you'd have to do all the kind of behind the scenes of building up contacts, actors, lighting people, set designers. Like, I think there's a lot you could explore there, and both give a final product, which is free to watch, maybe with early access for people who've supported on Patreon along the way, but it's free to access on YouTube, but with a lot of extras that only the Patreons would see. Like regular update posts, behind the scenes videos, all that kind of stuff. I think there's a lot you can do there. And what I'm trying to do is start that purely with the writing side. So this is not a script I'm working on now. This is a more standard novel type idea. I put it in there in quotes because it's not going to be long enough to be considered a novel. This is very much a kind of what I would consider part one of a novel. Back when novels used to be just split into parts. I don't mean different books, I mean different parts. So, kind of following the old formula, you have the setup, you have the middle bit, and then you have the end. So this is what I'm going through now is kind of, I mean, it's hard to call it a part because it'd be a part of a novel, say a 3-part novel, which was then part of a 3-part series. So it's kind of like the setup for the setup of a setup. And again, what I'm trying to do is give the final thing, so the actual words on the page, is accessible to everybody in one form or another. With early access to people who support me on Patreon, I have to give them something. If you're supporting me, I feel like I have to give you something a little bit extra. It feels wrong to get support and then just offer everything to free for everybody. Like, it just doesn't sit well with me. But I need to be able to offer it to everybody because I need people to read it, so that they might go, oh, I want to support them on the next one, and then they come in, and then I've got more Patrons, and I can keep on doing this kind of shit, right? So it's a whole thing, it's a whole mess, and my brain can't handle it, and it's all fine, but we'll get there. So what I am hoping to do, though, and offer Patreon exclusive stuff for this series, is maybe some like character interviews. So this is something I normally wouldn't share with anybody, but part of my process when I'm coming up with a character is I will conduct an interview with that character to try and get a real idea of who they are and what they do. Now, bearing in mind that I can't give too much of the story away in any of these things that I'm offering as extras, so I don't want them to be spoilers, but I do want to offer extras. It's possible that I might either produce, because I normally do a text-based interview so I can go back to it. In fact, I might do one live on air just so people know what I'm talking about. But so I can either like put the whole thing out, but then there might be spoilers there. I could then edit it so you only know what it is I want you to know, or I can try and do something a little bit different, and it would probably be the little bit different thing that I would do. So kind of take that interview and turn it into a stupid video interview purely based on how they're reacting to the events that have unfurled so far in the story that you know. So it's a kind of take the people out of the story. So imagine that in a kind of fantasy world, let's try and do Tolkien. So what would have been known in Lord of the Rings? So Sauron is back. They're looking for the ring. I'm trying to think of a particular point in Lord of the Rings where you could kind of do this in a kind of news story kind of way, where you're interviewing the main participants. So, okay, let's take the bit in the tunnel where Gandalf dies. Spoilers. Imagine taking Frodo and everyone else. Well, Frodo would be the main one, or Sam, or someone like that. Just taking them out of that scene and trying to give them an interview. And how do you feel about it? You got away, but Gandalf died. Can you carry on? Like, I think doing a kind of interview like that in some kind of way with my characters, talking about the events that hopefully people have just read about, would be interesting. I don't know how it would work. I don't even know if I could pull it off, but it's something that I'm definitely willing to give a try. So, it is. So during March, I said I would concentrate on the writing stuff, and I have. So I've written a lot last month. I've moved a lot of things forward, and I've made a lot of decisions on what I'm going to do. So the first decision I made is that the Shaded Dragon, which is where my writing is at the moment, is due for renewal at the end of April. I've kept the domain name, but I do not think I'm going to keep the website up at this time. And there's a number of reasons for that. One, the Shaded Dragon is actually the name of a project I'm working on, and if the website did come back, I would probably want it to be dedicated purely to that project, rather than the home for all of my random shit, basically. So what I'm probably looking at doing, but not straight away, because honestly, for this initial push, this initial Patreon exclusive access to a story, which I haven't even given a name yet, but is finished, is ready to go, we'll release probably 2 parts a week, with a week's early access for Patreons, and then after that week it will become available to everybody. Now, I'm going to put all of that on Patreon. Now, the issue is Patreon does not have a decent post blog system, so it's not something that can last forever. I can probably do it this once without people getting too lost and too confused about where things are. There are tags, you can filter by tags. There are things I can do to make it easier, but it is not made for a content delivery platform. Patreon is clearly designed for, this is what I do, give me money, now go here to see what I've done. What I will be doing is building up this initial bit on Patreon. One, because I need to redesign my web presence, my website, where it's going to go, what it's going to look like. I need to redesign that. This gives me some time to do it. Two, it means I have a kind of start and finish to one of my projects on Patreon, and I can say to people, look, this is what I do, this is what I produce. If you want to see more, if you think it's worth backing me up, please pledge. If not, you'll still be able to get it all for free eventually. I'm not going to hide anything. Well, some of the extras you may never see if you don't back me. I'm a little undecided. Like, maybe the extras will have like a year exclusive period. I don't know. Like, I'm thinking all these things through. But so that's what I'm trying to do. So to say goodbye to the Shaded Dragon, I don't know if I'm going to do anything. I think I might just take it offline pretty soon, to be honest. Move myself to a free blog for now, or one of the other things that I'll be producing, which is kind of the Twitch stories, which we're going to push on with. And then eventually, if I, luckily, if I, fingers crossed, can get a Patreon community backing me up for the writing stuff. And no, I'm not going to split them out. I'm not going to split myself between a Twitch Patreon and a writing Patreon. All the money comes to me is to keep me alive. And and all of the effort comes from me. So whether it's going towards the Twitch side or the writing side, it's all me. But I am hoping that I will get some Patreons who are purely there for the writing side, and then I can keep on producing the writing stuff at a decent pace. So that's kind of what April is all about. Is March helped me get into this is a project, write it, do it mindset. What I want to be able to do is to be able to produce at least 2 to 3 posts, whether they be complete short stories or additions to a serial of roughly around 2,000 words each, on a weekly basis, ongoing, so I can really start to build up the writing side. So I've got decent Twitch content and I've got a decent amount of writing content going out. So April is going to be looking at trying to get back into that workflow, that kind of writing workflow, and part of that is going to be writing the story live on Twitch and posting the results, which will be an additional Twitch stream, which I forgot to mention before, but that's because that will be a writing Twitch stream. And although obviously I hope that some of my regular Twitch viewers will follow me into the writing journey, it's also designed, I want to keep the writing stuff separate, still on the same channel, still piece of cake, it's still me. But if you come towards, 2 PM in an afternoon, you're going to see me playing games and talking bullshit. If you come and see me at X o'clock on whatever days I decide to do this, it's going to be me writing. It's going to be me trying to work stuff out. Now, whether or not we actually do any writing on that stream, or it's just me jibber-jabbering as I try to work out a problem with a character I've got or a storyline I've got, I don't know. But it's something I am going to start offering. I just don't know when. Both when I'm going to start it and kind of what days or times that would be. I'm completely undecided. It's up in the air, but it is something that in April I'm hoping to do at least 1 or 2 of these streams, and then hopefully grow it from there. I'm also hoping in April that I can decide on what I want my web presence to look like, both in domain name, what it would offer, so I can start working on that and get that launched towards the end of April, and really push that forward. All the while kind of building up my kind of teaser. I don't want to call it a teaser because that's not really what it is, but it also is, because I'm trying to draw people in. I'm being honest about this. I want people to pledge. I want to be able to do this. So I want to create something that people want to support. So I do need to tease. I need to openly tease, throw up a paywall, but then 1, make sure it's not too expensive, 2, make sure it's value for money, and then 3, make sure that everything is not locked behind that paywall and you have to pay to get in, because I want everybody to be able to enjoy this. It's a difficult tightrope to walk, right? It's horrible. Anyway, that's kind of where I am. So this month is going to be a big month behind the scenes. Probably just like March, it's going to be a big month behind the scenes. And then hopefully around towards the end of April, start of May, you will start to see the results. Now, the teaser story, the one that I did a open taster of, will be starting next week on Patreon. How many times a week it posts, I haven't decided yet. I need to work out how many parts there are, what kind of time frame I want to condense that into for it going out on the Patreon side, and then take it from there. So there'll be another kind of update on that coming forward. Whether or not that'll be text or another video, I don't know, but we'll see. And then I think that's kind of all I wanted to talk about. Oh, one other thing. So, a long time ago, in the deep winter months of last year, I agreed, foolhardily, believing I would never be still streaming at this time, to do a mowing stream of a tiny field. I'm gonna deliver on that. So, progress I've made towards that. Well, 1, it's almost mowing season, so good start. 2, the tractor's working, so another good start. And 3, I have moved my setup closer to the field, which is over there. So now what I'm doing is setting up a strong Wi-Fi repeater out on the deck. It's not going to live there because it's not waterproof. In the hopes that that will then cover the field in a decent Wi-Fi signal, so that if I've got my phone somehow dodgily strapped to either my face or the tractor, that it will then be able to, I can basically do a live stream from the phone to Twitch. There will be no interaction from me because I won't be able to see chat. You won't be able to hear anything I'm saying. The tractor might be way too fucking loud. Am I going to do a mowing stream? So probably my first test will not be mowing. My first test will probably be me standing in the, or sitting in the field because I'm a lazy bastard. Sitting in the field on the tractor while it's not running. Or possibly while it is running. I don't know. Seeing if I can get decent signal all the way around. And then we will give it a go at one point in time. I don't know when it will be. I will probably try and hype it up. However stupid that sounds. It's the mowing stream. But I am going to do it. I promised I would. I'm going to do it. So I am working on it. And it will happen when I need to get in and mow the field for the first time. So we're a little bit early. The field's still a little bit wet. The daffodils are still there. And I need to wait for the daffodils to not only die, but fully die so I don't kill them so they come back next year. And then I will have a basically 3-week window for when the daffodils die to before the orchids come out to get in there, mow the field down. If the orchids come out, I then have to wait another 4 weeks before I can mow the field. So I definitely got to get in there. I'm hoping I can get the Wi-Fi stuff ready so I can stream the first mow. Because of the time frames, if I can't do it, if it cuts off, if it goes wrong, I will still have to mow the field, and then we will try to do a proper one towards the end of the year. But I'm hoping that I can get that sorted out. And that's the last thing I'm going to talk about today, because this has clearly been over 10 minutes. In fact, it's been almost half an hour. I doubt anyone's going to watch this. This is meant to be a short, concise, public update of what I'm doing with less waffle than normal, and I've waffled on like an asshole. Anyway, thank you everybody who has supported me in any way during this time frame. A future thank you to anybody who supports me going forward. And the streams will continue. They're not going to get better because I think I've reached my peak. I don't think there's anything I can do to make them better, short of changing my personality or hiring somebody else to play me. But I am going to hopefully be able to do more of them. Especially on the weekends. I like the idea of doing a weekend stream, maybe catching those people who can't watch me live during the working week. So I like the idea of that. The writing stuff is going to improve, but you're going to see more of this Angel Paladins, fairly generic idea, but with more of a fantasy detective twist on it. Coming out soon, very soon. And then I'll obviously keep you all updated with where my writing is going to live and how that's all going to work going forward. But yeah, so it's April. We're going to start. It's the spring. Let's start with a nice big push through the spring. Let's try and get it to where I want it to be. And then try and get it to a place where in May I can come back and say, yep, we're going to risk it. We're going to do the next. We're going to take the whole year and carry on doing it. That's where I want to be. Obviously, I will need all the help I can get to make it there, and I will appreciate every little bit. So if any of this has intrigued you, this really long video of some random guy talking at you about random bullshit, there should be links somewhere. Like I got a Discord, I got a Twitch channel, I got a Twitter, Police of Cake everywhere. Feel free to reach out to me, drop me a line, ask me some questions. I will answer them all gladly, and we'll see what happens, right? We'll see what happens. This is kind of the real launching point. I consider this the real launching point of everything. So I've been doing a lot of work in the background, just trying to keep my head above water. Now I'm going to put the effort in to try and push it out, push it forward, actually get somewhere. So hopefully some of you come along for the ride. We will see. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to try and get this just under half an hour. And I think I do that pretty much by saying bye and hitting the stop record. Bye.